Hello and welcome to another episode of TradeWise. In this video I'm going to be doing a review of the GPS Forex Robot. So if you've heard about this robot, maybe you're researching whether or not you want to buy it, and maybe you haven't heard of it yet, and maybe you're just following along with my channel and you want to know a little bit more, and then I'm going to go in quite a lot of detail into this robot. I've actually, I purchased it quite some time ago. I've been running it with various different settings, so I've got quite a long track record which I'm going to be sharing with you in this video as well. So stay tuned, make sure you watch this video right to the very end. I'm going to go into quite a lot of detail, as I say, and I have as well got some free bonuses for you as well. If you do decide to buy the GPS Forex Robot after watching this review, you might as well get some extra free stuff with it as well. So at the end of the video I'll tell you a little bit about some of the extras that I'll provide for you, but really what I wanted to do first and foremost is just give you as much detail as I can about this robot so you can make an informed decision. There's quite a lot that I like about it, but there are some negative aspects as well, and so I'll be honest and share those with you too. As always, if you enjoy my content, please give me a thumbs up, please like the video. I always really appreciate when people get involved. If you have any questions, you can either message me directly or you can leave questions below this video. And also make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, because I'm always trying to put out valuable content for you as often as I possibly can. So with that being said, let's get on with this GPS Forex Robot review. Alright, so here we are on the GPS Forex Robot website. There should be a link below this video. If you're on the website, then it will be directly below. If you're on YouTube, then I'll put a link to it in the video description. So once you go to the website, you'll see that we're actually on version 3 of this particular robot. Now this robot has actually been around for a long time, probably around sort of 10-year time frame. Now some may see that as a negative thing, but actually the way I look at it is that this robot has actually stood the test of time. Now market conditions change all the time. Sometimes you have very volatile markets, sometimes you have very steady markets, sometimes you have big news, sometimes you have just very slow and quiet periods and so on. A lot of robots come and go, and I've tested dozens, if not probably hundreds by now. A lot of them don't really stand the test of time. They maybe work for a few weeks, some of them maybe even work for 6 months or 12 months, but then eventually they end up blowing the account. But for something like GPS Forex Robot to have been around for such a long time really actually is a positive. And as we look at some of the track record of this robot, you'll see why it actually works in your favour. And bear in mind that even though it's been around for a long time and the engine behind it hasn't changed that much over that period of time, fundamentally the way that markets work, the way the Forex market works, hasn't changed during that time. So it's not like there is really a necessary need for the strategy to change. As long as the actual fundamentally the way that the Forex markets work, then this robot should continue to work now that it's stood the test of time through various different periods of market conditions and so on. So don't expect all of this to be sort of brand new, and I'm making this video in May 2020. Don't expect it all to be necessarily bang up to date, but the bot itself is highly functional, and for me it has been highly profitable as well. But I just wanted to sort of let you know really that it has been around for a very long time and has certainly stood the test of time, and it's a one-time fee of $149, so it's a very low cost product. I sort of see myself owning this and running it for many years to come. So the actual cost as a one-time fee is very good, and that gives you a choice of different brokers and things as well. It runs off the MT4 platform, which is a free platform as well. Most Forex brokers will use MT4, so you do have a different choice of brokers, although I will talk a little bit about brokers later on. So I mean, I'm sure you've had a look at the sales page. If not, then feel free to read the sales copy and some of the frequently asked questions and so on. Most of it's pretty self-explanatory, but one thing that I did want to pick up on about this bot is the verified trading history, and they do have some MyFX book verified accounts running. Now this actually seems to be putting off some people. I've actually got one of the MyFX book windows open here, so this, you can see here, this is one of the ones from their website, and it's a verified track record and everything, so I'm comfortable that this is genuine. And what we can see is a very nice growth chart over a period of time, 227% growth, which is fantastic. But I think what actually puts people off is not the fact that it's actually this is clearly a winning robot. This robot actually is very consistent, has a very, very nice growth curve. I think people look at things like the monthly return here, so averaged over a period of time, and this track record goes all the way back to 2012, which in itself is very good. But I think people think, well, 1.2%, it's not really worth it. You know, if you're paying $149 or whatever for the bot, and then you got to run it and so on. Well, is it really worth it for 1.2%? One thing I would say is you can definitely get a high return from this, as you'll see from my own trading results when I show them a little bit later on. So don't necessarily be deterred by that. I see the positives here are the fact that we've got an 8-year successful account. So many robots that I see for sale have a month or two worth of track record, and we're supposed to think that it's fantastic because it's done 100% a month for 2 months. Some of them have a little bit longer. You know, you might get 6 months or 12 months or whatever. But generally speaking, even if a robot has been around for a long time, there's quite a few bots out there that have been around for a long time, 5 or 10 years, but yet they've only got about 12 months worth of track record, and that's because they're not consistently profitable, and they may either blow an account or they may have massive losses, and then the owners of those bots don't want to show the vulnerability of their robot, so they kind of disguise and hide their track record. Well, I think that it's very good that they've got 8 years worth of proven track record, and you know, over that period of time markets have been very, very volatile, and you'll actually see recently, obviously it's been very volatile with the coronavirus and so on, and as we go forward, keep that in mind, because this bot has actually stood up to those very, very challenging market conditions incredibly well. So don't necessarily be put off by the fact that the monthly returns may look a little bit low on here, and you can definitely squeeze out a much better return than what's kind of advertised on here, but at least they're being transparent about it, and that's one thing you can say. So it's a very long sales page, and we're not going to cover everything because it just goes on, and it is a little bit dated now, but feel free to go through, spend your time and read that content as much as you like. But really I want to just show you what you get once you actually make a purchase, and I'll show you the type of results that I've been getting as well. So let's move on from the sales page. Once you buy the bot, it goes through ClickBetter, which is the sort of sales agent for it. So ClickBetter are actually quite a big company, and if you do need any billing support or a refund or anything, you're better to go through ClickBetter rather than contacting their support. But once you've purchased the actual bot, then you get access to the members area. In the members area, just keep in mind that this has been around for quite a long time. It stood the test of time. They probably need to update this back end. So the back end for me is quite a negative aspect of this bot. They probably do need to update some of these videos and things. You do get quite a lot in here. So I'll just run through it very, very quickly. There's a webinar which for me wasn't working recently, but it's not all that valuable anyway. There is some bonus content as well that you get access to, and there's things like some trading strategies that they explain. There's a secret page which is like the source code for a bot, another bot, which I've not really tested. I'm not too bothered about, to be honest. There's some other sort of helpful advice on like how to avoid forex scams. Talking a little bit about brokers and so on. This is quite good information if you're an absolute beginner. It just gives you a bit more of an insight into the forex market and so on. I've not spent a huge amount of time on it or anything, but if you are an absolute beginner, then you'll probably find all this bonus content a little bit helpful. As I say, albeit it probably is a bit dated now, so it probably could do with refreshing, but it's still nice to have that there if you want it. The downloads and the license section, so that is obviously your actual license for the bot. You can run the bot on one live trading account, and I think you can do it on unlimited demo accounts. I'm not entirely sure about demo accounts. I've certainly run it on demo accounts without any issues as well. But it explains how to download the bot and how to set it up and so on. Then you've got frequently asked questions, which are a little bit outdated. It talks about ClickBank, for example, when actually they're using ClickBank better, as I've mentioned before. There are some tutorials as well on how to get things all up and running. Their support is available through the members area as well. However, again, another negative for me is that their support isn't fantastic. If you've got a billing issue, then definitely go through ClickBetter. ClickBetter will email you anyway the proof of your purchase once you actually buy the robot, so you can get in contact with ClickBetter if it's a billing issue. If you've got an issue actually setting up the bot, then you could always message me. If I can help, then I'd be happy to. Just make sure you've gone through the tutorials and everything first, just to make sure it's not a really sort of obvious or common error before you do that. If a lot of people get in contact with me saying they're struggling, then I might set up some, I might create a setup video or something just to help people along a little bit. So that's mostly what you get. I mean, it's everything that you need. I think they have tried to throw in some extra bits with bonuses and so on. As I say, you may or may not benefit from those, but they're there if you want them. So if we skip ahead now, let's assume that you've made a purchase, you've set it up and so on. So what can you expect from this robot? Well, the first thing you need to keep in mind is that the bot does need to be running 24/5, so 24 hours a day, 5 days a week. It's a Forex robot, so it needs to be running the entire time that Forex markets are open, which is Monday to Friday. Now, some people like to have a VPS, a virtual private server, to run it, which is a way of just constantly having it running on a server somewhere. The server could be anywhere in the world. You can log into it remotely and you can set up your broker account and your GPS robot using that VPS. I actually use a dedicated PC in my office, so I have a PC that's running 24/7 that I do a lot of my testing and I have various bots and things running on, and GPS is running on that dedicated machine, so that I can just literally just walk over to the desk that it's running on and just see what's happening with it and tweak it and so on. You definitely need to avoid using something like a laptop for running this particular software. If you're switching a laptop on and off and maybe only using it occasionally, then the bot's just not going to have time to be scanning the markets and getting you in and out of trades and so on. So you definitely need to think about how you're going to run the software. So keep that in mind. I don't use a VPS, as I say, so I can't really recommend any. Don't sort of ask me about which I recommend. They do recommend some in the members area that you might want to look at, but there's thousands of providers and they're normally about, I think, $10 a month or something. So they're not particularly expensive, and you can run more than one session of MT4 on there at once as well. So keep that in mind about how you're going to actually run the bot if you haven't already done so. And then once you're up and running, so this bot, one of the main things that I want to get across is that this bot does not trade aggressively. It's a very steady, I'd say slow and steady is the approach. It's looking for trends, it's looking for stable markets before it will enter a trade. And for me, that's one of the most powerful things about this robot. So many times I've bought bots that over trade. Okay, so from the moment you switch it on, within about 10 minutes of switching on the bot, you've got 20 open trades and more opening all the time. You've got big lost positions being kept open. You are making some wins on winning trades that are being closed off, but your drawdowns get massive. You have some really large losing trades which the bot's struggling to get out of, and it's just a bit chaotic. And I've done it so many times now. I've seen it so many times with different robots. They're just too aggressive, and almost all of them end up blowing the account. So don't expect this necessarily as soon as you switch on the bot and once you get everything set up. Don't expect hundreds of trades to be open straight away. This is very slow and steady, as I say. So let me actually show you some of the trading history from my own account. So I'll share the link to this. I've got the track record verified. Currently, I'm not sure the tracking privileges are working correctly, but I'll try and get that sorted as well. But this is the results from my own performance on one of my accounts. I have tested it in different settings on different accounts and so on, but this is the one that I'm most happy with. These are the settings that I'm going to be working with going forwards over the next few years. So early on, I was kind of testing quite different things, different aspects of it, and there are a few settings that you can tweak and change as you wish. And I wasn't getting it quite right, and I had quite a big loss in January. But then once I'd got that sort of period out of the way, since this loss here, it's been extremely steady for the last 4 or 5 months. It's been extremely good, and both my equity growth and my overall growth have been growing really, really nicely. So overall, since I started this particular account in December 2019, I'm 62% up, and it's monthly growth of about 9.55%, and that's what I expect to make roughly going forwards every month. So this is why I say about don't worry too much about what's on their sales page, because I'm seeing very different results, and other people that I'm speaking to are also getting very nice, consistent results at this level. One of the reasons that I'm able to get much higher than what they're showing on the sales page mainly is because you can trade 4 pairs, and a lot of the track record they've got on their website is just for one currency pair. But also getting the settings how you want them as well is also important. I always really like it when your equity growth curve mirrors your growth curve as it does here, just the two grow in tandem together, and you've obviously got steady growth. So over time, I'm going to leave this up and we can see it continue hopefully to grow and grow over a period of time, now that we've got just such steady, nice growth coming in. A few other things I wanted to talk about in terms of my track record, and as I say, just have a look at it in your own time, at your own leisure. Feel free to have a look at my track record. There's been some very good months, and the losing month in January, as I say, I suffered a loss in January while I was getting the settings right. But the settings, which I'm happy to share with you, by the way, that's one of the free bonuses that I'll come on to. I'll share my settings so that you can test them for yourself, are very consistent. But look at April now. April was a month where the world was literally falling apart because of coronavirus. Everything was going into lockdown. During this period of sort of late March and particularly in April, so many professional traders with years and years of experience were getting completely wiped out. So many systems that I've been following and tracking the progress of, I've got completely wiped out. 1 or 2 people may have seen opportunities and may have made some money, but for the vast majority of people, they were licking their wounds during this period of time. So the fact that this robot just running completely on autopilot without any, I've not stepped in at all. Now that I'm happy with my settings, since January I haven't tweaked anything, I haven't touched anything, I've just let it run. And to come out with profits over this period of time is quite remarkable, really. I would have been happy just with protecting my investment during this period of time. They're the kind of times where you just, whatever you do, you don't want to be losing your invested capital. And then making a small profit in April is fantastic. And then obviously one of my best months followed that in May. We're still in May currently, but I'm sitting on a 12.24% profit for May. And again, that just shows that it's versatile in so much that it trades steady markets and tends to avoid any kind of issues with highly volatile markets. So it wasn't particularly active during April, and that's kept me out of a lot of trouble, I feel. So these are things that give me a lot of confidence in this robot going forward, and you can start to see why they're able to post verified results for over the last 8 years and so on. Because it does seem to have that sort of stability about it. Just these are quite interesting figures as well. So the number of long trades won 83%, the number of short trades 93%. So you can see very good win ratios there as well. Profitability is very good as well. But not a lot of trading history. I mean, 92 trades so far. Some bots will do that in a day because they're over trading. But go through this by all means. You'll see a lot more green than you'll see red overall, and you'll see it does trade the different currency pairs. Although generally the most successful is Euro USD, but you can see wins from other currencies that I'm running it on successfully as well. So I have to say, I do really like this bot. I'm not looking to make 100% or 200% per month. A lot of the time with those kind of extremely high returns, you're going to get yourself into trouble more often than not. I've kind of been there and had my fingers burned in the past 10% per month return is a very, very, very good return. In fact, 10% return, if you're compounding it, which you certainly can do with this robot, you can become very, very wealthy indeed just off the back of just setting and forgetting a robot like this and just letting it make you money month in and month out. So I look back and I think, well, this bot's been around for 10 years now. Now, if you could have made 10% per month over that 10-year period, if you'd have started with $1,000, $1,000 would turn into about $3.5 million if you're making 10% per month over a 10-year period. Now, I'm not saying that I'm going to leave this necessarily running for 10 years or that I'll be able to turn $1,000 into 3.5 million, but it shows you that with just 10% per month growth and doing it consistently over a long period of time can make you a huge, huge amount of profit when you're compounding those wins. Let's not forget that with the banks, if I deposit money in the bank at the minute, I'd probably make about 1% per year. So to be getting 5 or 10 or even higher percent per month is fantastic. So for me, I think it's very good value for money, and I'm very happy with the settings that I've got right now as well. But don't take my word for it necessarily. One thing that I wanted to also touch on is the reviews out there in the marketplace as well, and what everyone else is doing in the sort of forex trading community. Now, one community that I do like and that I follow quite a lot is the Forex Peace Army. I think this is a good facility, a good tool overall. I think they've got, that they're very genuine. They do try and filter out some of the more sort of spammy reviews, but you do get some spam as well. So just keep that in mind. You do get people. This is a very cutthroat industry, so you do get competitors giving negative reviews to products and so on. That does go on. So on their reviews page, this particular EA gets 3.2 stars out of 5, which is pretty good. But I actually think that it would get a lot higher results if people were not expecting it to trade quite as much. I think a lot of people set it up for 2 days and see that it's maybe not traded even within 2 days. It may not. It may go a week without placing a trade. But then they think, well, it doesn't work. I'm going to get a refund. So I think a lot of people give up on it. But I also think that they're not getting the settings quite right as well. So that just brings me back to, you can see clearly in my own settings, if I'd have given up in this period after the losses, I would have been thinking, well, this isn't working for me. But I persevered to get extremely steady, very good returns. So this is why I'm trying to cover these things off, so that perhaps you don't sort of fall into the same trap and you get proper value for the money, especially if I can give you my settings as well that you can test for yourself. There's someone else actually that shares their settings in the reviews as well. I'll show you my settings here. So I don't know if they're any different than mine. I've not actually checked what these settings are, but have a look at them yourself and just see. You can certainly test different settings. You could test your own, you could test mine, and then you could test these perhaps as well. But not just the reviews that are worth reading on here. There's 79 reviews, so there's a good number of reviews. But what they've actually done is they've actually set up their own verified tests here. Now, these are completely independent, and Forex Peace Army don't do this very often because there are just so many bots that don't stand the test of time. They don't last very long, so there's no point Forex Peace Army testing a lot of different EAs. So you don't actually see them testing, doing their own performance tests. So the fact that they have alone is good, but the fact that they've got quite high gross profits for their tests as well is fantastic. So this one was an old one that they've now stopped. It's 84%, but the one that's still running even to this day is this top one. So if I open this one up, and you can see that the growth is 536% on this one, and it's been running since 2012. And you can see the growth curve here again. It's just so steady and consistent. This is what you want your money to be doing for you. So even if you're not putting, don't put all your eggs in one basket. You won't put all of your savings into this particular robot, but whatever money you sort of put aside, whatever's your sort of high risk funds account, then you want it to be doing this for you over time. So this test has been running for 415 weeks, and this is why I'm very optimistic about the future now that I've got settings that I'm happy with. I am thinking that I will run this for a number of years, and very much looking forward to having this kind of growth chart as well. So have a look at this for yourself on the Forex Peace Army website. There's a lot of different data that you can get from this, but as I say, it's just another another source really of verified information where don't just take the GPS Forex Robot word for it that they've got verified proof. Don't take mine that I've got verified proof, but you've also got Forex Peace Army. And I'm sure if you keep searching around, you'll see other people. People are contacting me all the time saying that they really like it and so on. So, within the community, this is certainly one of the better robots out there, and I think particularly for beginners, this one is really good. Mainly because there are features that you can tweak and change, but there's not a lot. It's not a complex robot. There are other robots out there that I own, which I do kind of quite like, but they're very much for you technically minded, probably needing years of experience in Forex just to even make them profitable. There's so many different ways that you can configure some robots, and that gets very complex, and actually, you need to invest time in it over a long period of time. So you definitely don't need to be an expert. So I would say it's very good for beginners to intermediates. I mean, you could find that professional traders are using something like this themselves as well, just to give themselves a bit of diversity from their own trading strategy as well. So I wouldn't say it's necessarily not for expert traders, but I do feel it's much more so suitable for people that want things to run on autopilot like I do, and for people that are pretty fresh, beginners to more intermediate sort of phase in terms of experience in the Forex market. So if you're at the point where you quite like what you hear and you think that this might be the right robot for you, then I'm happy to provide some bonuses for you if you go ahead and purchase it using my link. So GPS Forex Robot do have a small incentive for me if I do introduce clients for them, and the broker as well, who is FX Choice, that I use and that they recommend that you use as well. So if you use the links below this video for creating your FX Choice broker account and get that funded, and if you buy through my link, the bot as well, then I'm more than happy to try and give you whatever sort of free bonuses that I possibly can. At the time of making this video, the free bonuses that I definitely want to include for you are, firstly, as I've mentioned previously in the video, I'll share my exact, it's called a set, so my exact settings for the GPS bot. So you can email me, I'll email you back with the set. And you can basically, once you've got it set up on your MT4, you can then load my settings straight into your MT4. The next thing that I'll do is I'll give you a very, very little known copy trading service, which I've been a member of for about 2 years now. That again is very, very slow and steady, but has I think it's a 99% win rate now over the last few years. It's got a very good track record, and it makes about 5 or 6% per month. So again, it's not something that's aggressive. It's very slow. It's the sort of thing that you can just set up and forget about it, and make excellent profits, 5 to 10% per month, very, very consistently. And although it's in the Forex markets, which are generally considered to be high risk, I consider it, because it doesn't trade very often, it's fairly low risk, it's fairly steady, and very few people know about it. So the trader that's behind it, you're basically copying his trades. He's been trading for well over 10 years as a professional trader. He doesn't necessarily want this to be the biggest thing in the marketplace. He is happy for a few people to get on board. So I'm one of them, and he has said that I can discreetly sort of mention it to people as well, but it's not the kind of service that I'll be promoting everywhere on my website and on YouTube and so on. So that's why I kind of reserve it for those who are kind of in my inner circle, as it were. So I'll share that one with you, and you can have a look at it if you really like the idea of just, again, making very steady, consistent profits over a period of time. Then that's a really good one for you. He's got a really good track record, and I think will stand you in very good stead. So I'll share that one with you as well. I'll also give you an ebook, which I actually purchased the public label rights for, which is an ebook on how to make money with cryptocurrency. So if you're in the Forex market, chances are you've already sort of had a look at cryptocurrency. Maybe you already own some cryptocurrencies, or maybe you don't quite understand it and you'd like to get involved. Well, the ebook that I send to you will explain to you kind of what cryptocurrency is and how it works for those that are absolute beginners, but it will also give you some indications of how to really get involved and actually buy cryptocurrency and make consistent profits from it as well. I've been involved in cryptocurrency for quite a while now. I do own some cryptocurrencies, myself, but I'm not sure whether the market will explode and go to $100,000 or $200,000 per Bitcoin. I don't know whether it will do that or whether it will just meander along kind of slow and steady as it has done over the last couple of years. But I think it's definitely here to stay, and there are some opportunities for making money with cryptocurrency. So for those of you that have an interest or would like to learn more about it, then this ebook is one of the best that I've found. It's really helpful, really insightful, and definitely an interesting read. So I'll send all of those along to you as well. If I add any free bonuses, I'll mention them below this video as well. I am always on the lookout for things that I can give to you, anything that I think will be of value and help you to make money, then I'm always happy to do that. I really hope that you found this video helpful. If you are watching on YouTube, please subscribe and give me a thumbs up. I really would appreciate that. If you have any questions, then please get involved. I'm always trying to answer as many questions as I can on these kind of things. And have a look at some of my other content, because I do share some other fantastic services, as well as some real duffers as well. There's some real rubbish out there. So if I don't like something, I'm very honest about saying so as well. So that's it for this video. I really hope you enjoyed my review of the GPS Forex Robot. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.